Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. I'm quitting YouTube. That's a joke. Pat's quit YouTube. That's happened since I last made a zombies video. Oh my god. I mean, it's not the topic of today's video, but it's a big deal. I can't believe Pat has finally basically said I'm out. And I want to just sort of acknowledge that at the start of this video and salute my boy. It's been a pleasure, Patrick, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm really looking forward to whatever comes next from you, mate. And yeah, really crazy stuff. So Pat's left the zombies community. You know who hasn't left the zombies community? Treyarch, because next week, God, that was an awful segue, they're releasing Cranked on the 14th, which is basically our mid-season zombies update, which is going to hopefully spice things up a little bit as we wait for season 2 when the new map is coming. Alongside Cranked, though, there is going to be some other stuff. Treyarch have hinted that there are going to be some additional zombies goodies of some kind due to the fact that next week is 115 Day. That's the 15th of January. Americans write the date the wrong way round, and so they write it as 115. I know it's ridiculous, but it's the world we live in. You have to put up with these weird things every now and then. But the good news is that does mean that we're getting some kind of zombies bonus thing just by virtue of the fact that that day exists. And that is basically the topic of today's video. All of you guys, I'm sure, over the years, would have at some point or other thought, you know what would be really cool is if sort of separate to the regular Call of Duty releases with multiplayer and campaign and Spec Ops and survival, if we could just get zombies as its own thing, a separate entity that could stand alone as a basically zombies focused experience with, let's say, 8 maps on launch, like a whole story on launch, like a whole campaign of zombies maps on launch, and then separate to that, have a load of DLCs obviously as well, maybe like 8 zombies DLCs throughout a DLC season. Like, how crazy would that be? So it's been a pipe dream forever, and we have had little things here and there that have looked like Treyarch and Activision really might be pushing towards that kind of direction at least. Not necessarily going, yeah, we're going to make a full zombies game here, boys, but doing things that give us the impression that they do care about the zombies mode expanding in some capacity rather than it just staying as a side mode forever. And that is where 2 really exciting pieces of news that come into the picture that have been floating around on the internet today. One of which, the first of which, is being reported by Modern Warzone, it's up on Charlie Intel, and it's also been leaked itself from the Xbox Live store. It basically says that Cold War Zombies is going free to play. On the 14th of January, the mode will be free access, open to everyone seemingly, according to this Xbox Live listing, and presumably that is because they're planning a load of cool activities throughout 115 week or 115 day week or whatever you want to call it. The 115 celebration that Treyarch no doubt is going to have a name for in a couple of days when they kind of announce whatever's happening. That is going to be a free week of access for all players. And this marks yet another departure in Activision's strategy for the way that they've been selling at Cold War. For I believe the first time in COD history, or certainly in recent years, prior to Christmas in the Battle.net launcher, there was a sale on Cold War. Sales on COD are so unheard of on Battle.net, of all places, certainly in my experience. The fact that that happened was a real surprise. But what it says to me is that their focus is no longer only on the individual units sold of the game, and instead there is more awareness of the fact that the DLC season, which is a free season, but more like the microtransaction and battle pass kind of season format, is going to make them more money than they would otherwise earn if they gatekeep sales at a higher price point. They're basically lowering the barrier of entry to try and reel in new players, and then they know there are going to be whales out there that will spend $1 billion on MTX, and they'll make that money back versus what they would have lost from discounting it in the first place. This presumably is the same kind of thinking that is informing this decision to make zombies free to play. Currently, there isn't really any reason, I would say, or any big reason really, to spend loads and loads of money on in-game purchases in the game if you are a zombies-only player. Granted, you might want some of the stuff that's in the store and all that sort of stuff. But if you're a big zombies fan, it's not like you're going to be buying loads of COD points so you can just buy a load of liquid divinium or something like that. That kind of system isn't in the game right now, and as such, the spending power of the zombies fan base is currently kind of untapped. there is a huge amount of value potential there that has not yet been reached because the mechanisms for Activision and Treyarch to earn that money are not yet in the game or are not yet kind of compelling enough, I think, for most zombies players to bite. But by going free-to-play for a week like this, with potential future free-to-plays coming at potentially regular intervals in the future as well, don't expect this to just be a one-time thing. What we're likely going to be seeing is the base zombies mode with the addition of cranked. So there's an event going on, it's 115 day, base kind of community is happy because there's something new. On top of that, new players get all of that experience that we've already had pre-Christmas when we were playing the map when it came out, and probably they're going to be getting reeled into making some purchases because I'm anticipating there are going to be more kind of zombies, microtransaction-y things of some kind that start getting either introduced or teased in this next week. It just makes sense from a business point of view. If they're doing something where they're suddenly giving the player a load of value, they're going to want some kind of value back, and I'm anticipating that that value is going to come from some kind of microtransaction system or some other system in the game that is going to be maybe slightly more zombies focused that should recoup them that lost or sunk cost. Now that's a theory, but what's not a theory is how it connects to the next point. Now, we know that that free week is going to be between January 14th and January 21st. I've seen little bits of discussion here and there about things that might be coming after DLC 1. And it wouldn't surprise me if what happens is next week we get loads of info about DLC 1 itself because of the fact that at that point it will actually be quite soon. It'll be like 2-3 weeks away. So that will be the next big thing on the cards. But it wouldn't also shock me if we also get some kind of tease about what's next, because think about it. Once we're out of the woods of kind of Christmas and launch and that kind of crunch period for Treyarch, a lot of their devs that are going to be more focused on things like campaign content and stuff like that are going to be able to repurpose and work on MP and zombies and onslaught and all those other side modes that need support, Warzone 2. And I don't think that all those devs would just all pivot to work on DLC 2. That wouldn't make sense to me. I think that they're going to try and put something in the gap. And what that exactly is going to be, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be big. Like, I reckon there's going to be a chunky boy coming between DLC 1 and DLC 2. It just lines up with the way everything's kind of fitting together right now. I could be wrong, and they could just give us Narc Survival, and that could be it. That's possible, but I've just got an inkling that there's more out there, especially because actually there's also talk of extra perks coming. Tombstone, for instance, is on the way. Wouldn't surprise me if that gets announced or revealed next week formally, and it might even get implemented next week as well. On top of that, we might get some new intel. That's definitely possible. A little bit more kind of breadcrumbing towards DLC 1. At some point, I wouldn't be surprised if we see expanded skill trees as well. Currently, our skill trees obviously go to 3. I think that there's a strong chance that at some point they end up going to 5. How we get the currency to get there is a mystery right now. If we're just going to suddenly start earning crystals again, then I guess that makes sense, that works. But I kind of feel like there might be some weird kind of game designy reason where Treyarch have made it so that you stop earning crystals once you've maxed out your current crystal count of like 138 or whatever it is to get everything unlocked so far. It wouldn't shock me if there's something built into the code there that means that they need you to unlock those extra levels a different way. I don't know. It's just the sort of thing where it's like, why wouldn't we have kept earning the currency if we were going to need it later? I guess it could be extreme forethought that they don't want people to have loads racked up of like loads and loads and loads of crystals just stored in your inventory, and then as soon as the update comes out, you can just buy the new levels instantly. But I feel like that would almost be the better design decision, because you want players who've grinded to feel like their grinding has had value and had meaning. You don't want the grinding to only matter if it happens at the right time of year, right? And so I think that they wouldn't do something where they stop you earning it and then they turn on a new thing and they're like, okay, you can earn it again now. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me being too optimistic that the devs at Treyarch are being nice to us, but I wouldn't be surprised if skills tree expansion comes from something else. I don't really know what it would be yet, but something else. I think most of you should probably be able to pick up what I'm putting down here. There's a lot of moving parts going on right now, a lot of cogs turning, and we're getting a free Zombies Week next week with the potential for a lot more in the future, and that is exciting. So I'm really happy to welcome a load of new Zombies players into the fold next week, and I'll be posting more Zombies videos as I go, trying to take January easy because I worked really hard November, December. I'm sure you guys understand. It's a grind making content like this, and I need my sleep, man, because I am tired. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. that's enough from me for now. Thanks for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.